Hi, greetings. We learned a new word today.
Yes, we did.
You try to speak it, please.
Felicidades. Felicidades.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Felicidades. Yeah.
And back at you.
Yeah.
So congratulations. And maybe you noticed that is a Spanish word. Say it again, please.
Felicidades.
Okay. Yes, congratulations are in order. Today we uploaded the Spanish narrated version of The Mystical Migration of the Monarch. And can we make a stab at speaking that title in Spanish?
The Mystical Migration of the Monarch.
Hold on. I want to try this.
Yes, we must.
We must. La Migración Mística
de la
Monarca.
But yes.
And we've said this many times that we regret that we don't have second. I don't have a second language. You do.
Well, I don't have Spanish, and I regret that too. Can't have too many.
So we brought in some friends to help
did.
make this dream come true. My friend from way back, Leslie Lee, helped us.
And then my niece Esperanza Piezers and her good friend Karina Nanez de Rivera. They're both Spanish-speaking natives, and one made the translation for us, wrote it out, and the other spoke it, so that the doors just opened so quickly.
Yeah.
This has just been we're watching a dream come true much sooner than we thought.
Absolutely. And I like to use that analogy of standing before a mountain, not knowing how to go over, around, but suddenly by holding on to a dream, dots start connecting themselves. And
that's right. Just can't lose sight of it.
And you said a phrase that I think bears repeating, and it was, Farron, why don't we dwell in the space, in the moment of a realized dream?
That's right.
And you know who I think our partners are in that space?
Who's that?
Gratitude.
Oh, right, yeah.
Appreciation. Awe and wonder, your go-to phrase.
That's right. It's just the magic of how it all fell together.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it really is fun.
Say the word again.
Oh, Felicidades. Felicidades.
And congratulations back to you.
Yes.
I'm not going to even try.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be fun if we then went back and reminisced a little bit about our trip to Mexico.
Right. And I mean, it's fitting that our timing of posting this happens to be when all the butterflies are arriving in Mexico.
Yeah.
So that made us want to relive our moments when we arrived in Mexico.
Yes.
Starting our footage for the film.
Yes.
So,
and it began with
Holbrook Travel in Gainesville, Florida. They're a fabulous ecotourism company, and they watch their carbon footprint with their travelers, but they also take you to places that you might not get to go with a lot of companies. They do their research and they develop guides in these foreign countries that take you to real remote areas, which is what the biosphere, the overwintering site for the butterflies is.
Yeah,
very
exactly.
remote.
Yeah, I think from east to west, the forest is about 100 miles wide that has pockets of forest where the butterflies find their way back to overwinter. And the miracle of that is these butterflies were born typically in the United States, never having been to these overwintering grounds before, but it's in their DNA how to track back to the area where they overwinter for the survival of their migration and a little bit for the species.
Right.
So Holbrook, yes, of course there's this huge story before that. And one day when we're well known and we have a following, we might find a group of people that would find that interesting and we could tell our story. But it's a fun story. So if you have any interest in, type out that you would love for us to tell that story, and we will. We will regale you with tales of our...
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of dots connected for that as well, and those were fun. We spent a day in Mexico City touring historic Mexico City, which is beautiful.
And ancient.
And large.
Yeah. Oh, it was big.
Yeah. And fun. And so then we got on the bus and headed 100 miles west to a little rural town called
Nangangeo,
Yes.
which is like a little alpine mountainside village, and it is got so much charm.
Yeah,
And
so we stayed at this hotel, 2-star, 4-star, 6-star.
yeah, it was the only hotel there,
Oh.
the Don Bruno.
Give it any star you want.
But it was this precious little hotel that kind of crept up the mountainside. And it really is an alpine village because it's
Right.
on the side of the mountain, and it's at 8,000 feet about, I believe,
Yeah.
is the elevation.
Yeah.
And so that's, at least they get you most of the way. We still have to go up to 11,000 feet to find the butterflies, but
Yeah.
so you
Yes.
get acclimated there, and
then up the mountain we go. So I think we drove upwards about 2,000 more feet in altitude, and probably between 9,500 and 10,000 is where we were boarding donkeys.
that's right. And horses.
Horses.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
horses. There were
That's right.
horses.
Yeah, so there's a landing at each, we've only been to 2 of the sanctuaries.
Yeah.
And those horses got us up at least 1,000 feet in elevation.
And can I just pause here a minute and just comment? I mean, they call this a sanctuary. I mean, that suggests such a reverence for the space
Yeah.
and a respect for the nature and what it supports.
And they do have a reverence.
They do. The
a
locals
respect.
are precious people, and they revere their space. That spot. It's just, and many of them were visiting with us as well.
Yes. There's a reverence in that area, actually in Mexico, that seems to be deeper than what I experience here in the States. I think I see more patriotism here and a deeper reverence there.
Maybe so.
Neither is better or less, just different.
Yeah,
It was a different
It is
experience,
different.
but it was beautiful to experience it.
it was. It really was.
Yeah, so
And then we had to walk the last 500 to 1,000 feet, I guess, to get to the top, which was not a bad walk at all, but it is something you have to be
Excuse me.
prepared for. Oh, yes, this girl did it with a broken foot, not once, but 2 years in a row. Yeah, didn't know your foot was broken the first year, I don't think.
we did not. I had been misdiagnosed. I knew I was in pain,
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
but I didn't know it was broken. Anyway.
She was a trooper, though,
I made it-
honestly.
Yes, I made it up the last 1,000 feet.
Yeah. It is accessible.
It's accessible with pain pills.
Yeah.
What can I say? The marvels of modern medicine. That was my experience. But I had to be at the top.
Yeah.
You know, remember our first year, and we're finally at the sanctuary. We've made it. I didn't pull her arm out of joint hanging on while she was pulling me up the mountain. Thank you for your help. In the sanctuary, when you first are looking for these butterflies, 2 things. You're seeing a side of the wings you're not used to seeing because the wings are folded, and they're blending in so well. At first they appear camouflaged.
Right.
So it takes just a moment for your eyes to acclimate, your brain to interpret what you're seeing, and go, oh my goodness, that's thousands of butterflies on that branch, so much so that it's hanging under the weight. You know, you think of one butterfly as being weightless, but 1,000 butterflies on a limb, it will bend the limb.
Yeah.
So that was remarkable.
That is.
And then once we are acclimated and we're seeing all of these pockets of butterflies clinging together, and Dr. Emmel, who took us down there with Holbrook, he leans over and says, we're looking at 150 million butterflies. And I'm, oh my goodness. That was at El Rosario. The second day we went to Sierra Cinque, and he says, we're looking at 120 million butterflies. So almost 300 million butterflies in those 2 areas that we were able to see with our own eyes.
That's right. It's
Yeah.
really remarkable. And then, as the days, that second year, because it was warmer, and they do leave the trees to get nectar, we caught them at the stream bed, which was another just unexpected phenomena.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the movie, but there were so many getting water, you could hear their wings fluttering. And I've never, you never hear a single butterfly wing, but when you have thousands of them fluttering, it's really something to hear too. It's a sound you've never heard before.
Right. So, I mean, because yes, one is weightless.
Right. And quiet.
But 1,000,
yeah.
Their presence is well seen,
Yes,
well noted.
and well heard. That's right.
Yeah. So I don't remember, I've tried to think for the specific moment that we said, we have to translate this into Spanish. I know it was early on.
Yeah.
Because the migration ends up in Mexico.
That's right. And it basically begins and ends there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to just look at a full circle situation, I mean.
The 4 generations. Yeah. Yeah, so it just made sense.
Absolutely.
We have to go through whatever effort. It's not even effort, but steps.
Well, we were dumbfounded. How are we going to solve this problem? And like I said, that suddenly the doors started opening.
Yes. And some beautiful people stepped in to help. And we thank you for that. And if you're watching, thank you.
Yes, very generous with their time too. Yeah. This kind of a trip was as much a retreat as it was, a hike through the forest.
Yeah.
There were a lot of quiet moments where you really had to slow down and just dwell in the nature and in the environment, and it was very relaxing and just an inspirational trip, I think.
Oh, it's one that is found on many people's bucket lists.
Yeah.
It's something that you just don't see anywhere. You have to go there to see that.
You do.
We have a favor. If you know of any teachers or groups that would love to see the film in its new Spanish narration, would you please send them a link and help us get the word out?
That's right.
We are so excited for the rural community of Angangueo and El Campo to see this video and really hope that they use it in their classrooms.
Right. And we also think it would be great for English-speaking students who are learning Spanish. It's a great way to...
Absolutely.
So we would love for language teachers here to use it as a tool.
And if you've ever had this trip on your bucket list, we highly recommend it. It's one of those things that it's hard to imagine until you're there and see it in person.
That's right.
And we wish that experience for anyone that wants to have that experience.
That's right. But if not, you could get a pretty good glimpse of it in our movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's that.
Yeah.
So until next time.
Adios.
Adios.